Hello everyone and welcome to Devils United. This is a preview for Manchester United versus Leicester. Hello everyone, welcome back to Devils United, another preview for Manchester United, but this time we take on Leicester. I've got Chloe and I've got Andy. Chloe, how are you?
I'm good, Maisy. Thanks for having me on again.
I'm glad you're well and I'm glad to have you on again. And Andy, how are you?
Yeah, great to be back on. Always fun. Should be good to look at the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this game. It's actually the first game what hasn't been difficult for us at the moment. Hello, Niall there, who's in the chat already. So coming into this game, because we actually played Chelsea, we played City, we played Arsenal. So this time we've got a little bit of a break at least with this Leicester team. But Leicester have actually been in good form, haven't they, for you, Chloe?
Yeah, it seems like it because obviously they've had some relatively easy games and they showed the Leicester that they were in the Championship last season, and I think if they were showing that at the start of the season, I don't think they would have been where they were now. But hopefully they won't show it as when we are playing them tomorrow. Or Saturday.
Yeah. And for you, Andy, as well, because last time we actually played Leicester is in the Conti Cup and it was a 3-3 draw. What do you think we need to do from that game coming into this game differently?
I'm just remembering about that. I remember I think that was one that you were at, and you were like saying, at least I get to see a win today. So we don't jinx ourselves to start off with that as a thing. No, I mean I think we just need to show our quality. I mean, there's a big difference in squads. Obviously, Jess Sigsworth is out at the minute with an ACL, which is obviously bad for her. But obviously, that was really the only striker they had of any kind of quality. So that's going to be helpful. I noticed today they've just signed a New Zealand international as well, CJ Bott from Vålerenga, which is apparently quite a top Norwegian side. You'd assume she'll be playing, so maybe the defence will be a bit stronger. But I think really, to be honest, we just need to get our confidence back, and I suppose use Leicester as that vehicle to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Hi to I Like Coffee. I hope you're well. So when I was actually at that Leicester game, I was a little bit cocky, I must admit, saying, yes, we're going to get that win. And then at the end of the game, I thought, I'm a jinx. I'm a jinx. Feels like every time I'm at a game, we lose. But then, of course, we went to Birmingham and then we got the 3 points. So that wasn't too bad at all. So I was looking at Leicester in itself because they're currently now in 11th place. It looks like they're going to stay promoted as it stands because Birmingham, nice to see you, but maybe might see you in 23-24 season. We just never know. But for you, Chloe, what do you think has really helped Leicester in getting these points?
I think the new manager has helped because I think she's brought quality to the team. She's brought the experience to the team. And I think she knows like what kind of lineups needed, what formations needed, and just the tactics for each team that they play. And I think with the new manager, they've been playing relatively well, and they've been having them goal scoring opportunities like Jess Sigsworth and Tash Flint, who's another one who's a very highly rated player. And she's a good player that plays for Leicester, and she's probably one one of mine to watch for the game on Saturday as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, to be honest. And Jess Sigworth, just as you've pointed there, Andy, is going to be a big blow. But how much of a black bowl do you think that will be for Leicester?
I think, yeah. I mean, I think you would hope that they're going to have a similar view to playing us, like we have a view to playing Chelsea. That that they're going to be really thinking, right, I really wish we had her there. Obviously, building on what Chloe said, I think the difference between Leicester and Birmingham is that they actually do occasionally win games. And obviously they won the essentially the relegation decider earlier last month, arguably because of the incorrect decision to send Rambo off, which was rescinded a week later. But you can't get the points back, kind of thing for Birmingham. But yeah, I think they've obviously got some young players. They're obviously I think it's probably fair to say, speaking to a lot of Leicester fans, that they thought it would be easier than it has been in the WSL. I think there was an element of, not exactly famous for not being unpolite here, but cockiness. They thought they'd waltz in and get top players and end up being top four like we were in our first WSL season. But obviously there's a bit of a difference between Man United and Leicester City.
Exactly. Yeah, and I just felt like as well it was definitely the wrong appointment in the manager at the very beginning, and then that really did mess them up truly, because I know they did have Jonathan Morgan, if I was correct there too. Yeah. But we'll go now more with Manchester United, because of course we haven't really been on that much of good form, but we've had quite a few injuries there as well. Chloe, are you aligned with these injuries, what we do have? Because we've got Hayley Ladd out, we've got Stanny out, we also Jade Moore, who's not at fully fit levels yet. Are you a bit concerned coming into this game about that?
I'm not concerned about coming into this game, because I think we've got the players to play. I'm just worried that we've not had content or information about Mannion, because we know she got an injury prior to the Arsenal game, but we've had no further update on her injury and how long she's going to be out. We know with Hayley Ladd, she's going to be out for a couple of weeks, I think, but hopefully she'll be back before the end of the season, and she'll be back into playing for us. And then obviously Jade Moore is hopefully she's running back on the pitch, so hopefully she'll be playing one of our games soon. And then obviously we've got Mil Turner out, so hopefully again, like I said, she should be coming back before the end of the season, hopefully. And I think we know Stan's out for the rest of the season, if I'm right, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think they've not really pinned it, but probably, if not, it would be a call maybe towards the end of the season. And we've got West Ham and Chelsea away in May, so it depends if we need her, I suppose, if we bring her back.
Definitely. And Niall has made a good point here. Hayley Ladd will be a huge blow/miss. Being a really good player, hopefully there'll be other options in the squad, and I still hope United Women can get the win. And for me, with Hayley Ladd, when she got brought through to the team properly, just as Bo Risa did, that's when we've seen a bit of a turnaround for Manchester United. Started there with Brighton with that 3-0 win. We had, of course, Aston Villa, where we got a 5-0 win. Got the same there with Birmingham. So would you really say, in terms of Hayley Ladd for you, Andy, that maybe she really did influence that team?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because I think to an extent, Hayley Ladd has been on the same journey as Tooney. Initially, I don't think was brought in to play every game. Obviously, I'm sure Casey saw potential, but went at the time. But clearly, she's blossomed into, arguably one of the first names on the team sheet. I think she gives us a lot of physicality. I think other members of the midfield sometimes, certainly in parts, lack that. You're never going to say that Hayley Ladd's going to pull out of a tackle. She's going to be in every tackle. And I think, as she's got more confidence and started to realise, yeah, you know what, I'm actually going to play rather than I'm going to be on the bench. She's managed to relax a bit. And obviously certain players, when they relax, they can show their talents. And I think that's part of the story about why Hayley Ladd has obviously become such an integral part for our squad this year. and obviously being the only natural six in the team as well, rather than someone who has to kind of learn how to play six.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely, because I feel like before Hayley Ladd actually did get brought through into the team, we were seeing Katie Zellum getting played there in that number 6 role, and we know that Katie Zellum is a lot more of that box-to-box midfielder than she is, of course, at number 6. We have seen of Jackie getting played as a 6. We have seen even Bo Reesa getting played in that double pivot, probably trying to be another 6 alongside Katie Zellum. I've always said this, so that a player isn't always going to perform at their high levels if they're not going to get played into the position. And that is where you do notice it with teams, where you do see that little bit of a downfall. And especially in the WSL in particular, there's only 12 teams. So even if you lose one game, that could be crucial for you getting first to second, third to fourth. It's so crucial in this league in particular, if you agree, Chloe.
Yeah, I agree. I think Saturday's game is a crucial match. I think we have to win it. Then we have to win Reading, and I think we've got to win all of our games now to try and keep that distance between us and City, and try and get above Tottenham, because obviously Tottenham are in that third spot at the minute, and they're the ones we need to beat. I think a lot of us are focusing on beating City, but we kind of need to also focus on Tottenham, because at the minute they're the team that are above us. And I think if we can win all of our games and hope Tottenham lose or draw theirs, then I think we've got a great chance. But we've just got to get the points. We've got to win or draw. We've got to get them points.
I was just looking then about Tottenham, and it's quite good from a United fan perspective, because I thought I'll have a little look. And basically, their March is as bad as our February. So essentially, they're playing Reading on Sunday away. Then they're playing City at home, Man City, obviously. Then they're playing Chelsea away and Arsenal away, and then Aston Villa on the 3rd of April. So you would hope that actually we've just done that. So unless you think they're going to win against those teams, which I don't think they are, I don't think that they might nick one win maybe, but they're not going to win them. Then you would hope we've got some scope. And then obviously, one of those teams, as I've just mentioned, is City. So if that becomes a draw, or maybe City takes points off them, because technically City are obviously still behind us by 2 points. It is looking good, but Mark, please don't. It's not. It's called a buffer. It's nice.
Yeah,
I know you might have liked. I know you can look in the dictionary, because it's a thing that other teams have. It's called a buffer from your latest, from your latest, rival. It'd be nice to have one. We don't always have to have them literally, breathing down the back of our necks.
Agree.
Few more people's entered the chat. Hello there to Static. We've got Chris here from Leicester Till I Die. Absolutely happy that they've won Manager of the Month there. And we do have another person. I thought I seen someone else there in the chat, but I didn't. Chris, I am sat near a lighthouse. That's why I'm so bright today.
Yeah.
Niall has a question here for us. Can you see yours competing for the league and finish first, second, third? I don't think we will be able to compete for the league, win the league, just for the reason that with Chelsea and Arsenal at the moment, with the way they're playing. But I definitely do think that we can compete for that third spot, so we can get into the Champions League, because I think it will be such a great opportunity for Manchester United, from being a team coming from forming in 2018, coming in from the Championship from the first season right to the WSL, and getting at least minimum 6th. It just shows where Manchester United has really come from a club-sided perspective, from a women's point of view. But for you, Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so I've got flashbacks of things that meant that if they went the other way, we could have been second or first. The windy time in Spurs, for example, and
Everton.
and Everton. All right, yeah, and I was there for all of them.
You might have been there, but I did watch-alongs as well.
Well, it's much more painful when you trust me when you're there. Yeah,
Right.
when you're there. No, I mean, I think in an ideal world, we have a small chance at second, maybe, depending on what the other top two teams do. But really, I think third is our gold medal. It is what we need to focus on. I think that it's about the problem with this league and the fact that it's only 12 teams is it's very hard to get momentum, because you'll have a situation where you play 3 games in a week like we did in February at one point when you include the FA Cup game, and you'll have a situation like in April where we're basically not up because we're out of both cups, so basically not playing. We've got 2 games in a month. And I think that's probably one of the more difficult points to coach and manage a team, because at least with the men, you're playing at least twice a week most of the time, if not, occasionally 3 times. You've got bigger squads, you get more control of your players. Whereas what happens with us is that we have these like periods of time of City, and obviously Arsenal, Chelsea, and like we had in February. And then we let them go to international break, and then Hedi gets injured, and that really stitches us up for the next couple of weeks. I think we need third, because there's still, even amongst our fan base, there's still witterings about, can we get third? Can we get third? Yeah, we can get third. We factually can get third. We're in it mathematically. We're better than Tottenham squad, the player for player. So if you look at the people you look at the third place challengers, you think of it that way. You've got Tottenham, ourselves, City, and Reading. So I would say we are favourites for third, because of the teams we've already played so far this season, and the fact we don't have to see City again.
Yeah, we don't have to see City
and
again.
Arsenal,
Don't have to play Arsenal. Don't even have to play Spurs again. We played them all. And for March, we don't have that much of a bad run, to be honest. Looking at that in particular, we have got, as you have mentioned before, with Leicester, Reading, West Ham, Everton. So not too bad in terms of the fixtures, but looking at both Arsenal and Chelsea, they have still got the cup competitions to play as well as the league games, because they're both, Chelsea has got FA Cups rounds there of Birmingham, and they've got the Conti Cup final with City, whereas with Arsenal, they have got their Champions League game and the FA Cup. So that is going to be extremely interesting there, because looking at Arsenal, they've got 1, 2, 3. They've got 6 games to play in 1 month, and that is quite a lot of games really.
Well, the thing is as well, obviously we've all got games on this weekend. So because they're in the final, Chelsea and City, for the Conti, are going to have a rearranged league game at some point, and there's no weekends free, so that's going to be a weekday game. So there's going to be 1 week where we're going to have a full rest, and they're going to have to play a midweek game, which is going to be great for us as well in relation to top 3.
Yes. I'll go with you, Chloe, about this question as well. What do you think? Do you think we could get first, second, third?
I think we're going to definitely get third. I think that's our aim. But like Andy was saying, if the first, I don't think we'll get first. I think that'll be out of the question. But I think second could potentially, we could potentially get, because of the way, if the fixtures and the results go in our way, like you were saying, the cup games with Chelsea and Arsenal, Chelsea have got the Conti Cup final, they've got an FA Cup games coming up, and Arsenal, they've got Champions League, they've got FA Cup, and I think the league's going to be on their mind, but also the Champions League is going to be on their mind, because they know if they can get through, if they can win this Champions League game, they know that it's going to be a tough run up. But in that, it's going to help us as well, because the more games they have, the more pressure they've got to have for players to be fit and to have the same starting 11 in some of the games, or the rotation's got to be a lot different for them too. Whereas we can rest our best players and play them in the bigger games and in the run up to getting that third spot. And I think as well with City, like we were saying, they're in the Conti Cup final this Saturday. So, like Andy was saying, they've got to have a midweek game rearranged, because if the only way they will get a weekend game is by them getting knocked out of the FA Cup, which I don't see it happening. But they're going to have that pressure as well, because they're going to want to have the Champions League spot, because they've been in it for every year. So they're not wanting to lose their Champions League spot, and I don't think they'll want to lose it to us. Definitely not.
I completely agree. A few more people here in the chat. Hello there to Renee. I'm very well, thank you, and I hope you are well too. We've also got Jack here in the chat too. Hello there to Jack. Thank you for tuning in, and I do hope you enjoy the game over the weekend. I believe Jack is also a supporter of the women's Leicester team, so I'm sure you'll enjoy the game, depending how the results go, of course. But Chris is saying we are staying up. Yes, you are staying up.
Yeah.
Although at first half of the season, you wasn't going to stay up. It was so neck and neck between you and Birmingham. Gonna miss Birmingham, actually. Right, here's a point here from Niall. Maisie, did you enjoy the freezing cold weather? Saw on your social media, you were like a polar bear, and that loud drum, which I also hate. And would you like to elaborate on this drum? Because I have explained this drum and I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a drowned rat was what more akin to what we all look like rather than a polar bear. Trust me.
I look like a polar bear. Did you see that picture? Got uploaded?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those where it's like you can see where the conversation happened. You know, they're owned by an Abu Dhabi consortium, and they thought, oh, we'll design a stadium. And very clearly, anybody who's designed the mini council house has never stepped foot in Manchester. Because, I'm sure it'd be great with a nice wind and that would go through, in a hot weather and that kind of stuff. But all it basically did is freeze us to death. I mean, obviously, the problem with City anyway, if anyone's never been there, is that because they don't really have proper fans, they have to sort of invent an atmosphere. So what you essentially get is like a little Year 6 disco before kickoff. I'm not even joking. They had a little DJ.
They did. They had a DJ like on there. In the middle of the stands, didn't they? Like one half like that, and then right in the middle, they had a DJ.
Exactly. Yeah, this is it. And then they all get little flags, and because they're bitter blues, obviously they don't smile, but they wave the flags. And yeah, to be honest, I've never actually seen this mystical drum. I've heard it. I swear to God, they've got just somebody who's nicked a CD player from Aldi or something and just presses a button occasionally. Because I was looking for it at LSV, which is actually a much to be fair, to give them credit, it was much rowdier atmosphere this Sunday. There's quite a few City fans that actually did turn up. I mean, it'd be great if they could turn up to their own games, but fair play, they turned up to us, and it was quite rowdy, and they even had a go at giving us a bit of crap back, which was kind of cool. The loud drum. Yeah, I mean, it's just we don't need a drum, and I don't really know what they do, to be honest, because it's just City, boom, boom, City, boom, boom.
I got the privilege where I was sat at LSV to see this guy with the drum, because my dad noticed it, saying, "Look, there's that guy with the drum." I've seen him. I've witnessed him.
I mean, do they have like a little competition who gets to carry it in? Who's like particularly wants to look like, I don't know, a reject from a really shitty carnival, in really heavy rain. Yeah, I get it if it's nice and sunny, or not. You see it being used in Notting Hill in summer and that kind of stuff. And there's some poor drained, miserable sod going boom, 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 and the rest of them out in Fountain City. Now you're all right. I'm glad that I'm red.
You've only got 2 songs. You want a song to sing for you?
Yeah, it was a bit awkward because of the way the second half went. Unfortunately, they did start nicking. And to be honest, like most teams, they did start nicking some of our songs as well. They were doing "She's One of Our Own," but changing it for Caroline Weir, which
I heard one where we were singing Leah Goldschmidt, She Never Gives the Ball Away. I heard a City fan in front of me go, "She just did then."
Oh God.
But hello there to Luca. Thank you for tuning in. How do you feel about that drum, Chloe? Because I even wrote on my social media, I'm glad I don't have to see that drum
again. I don't know how they get the drum in, to be fair, into the stadiums, because it's just like this. I don't think there's any need of it, but if they want to bring it in, let them bring it in. And we sing louder than any other fan base, so we can out-sing a drum.
Exactly.
Did you say Jack? Is Jack a Leicester fan?
Jack is a Leicester fan, yes.
Wow. Okay. Is that in a private car, or have you got enough for a bit of a longer taxi? Because most of the time we don't get to see many Leicester fans face to face in LSV.
Yes.
No, it should be good. It'd be great to see you. I'll look far in the distance for some people looking quite sad when we're beating you quite heavily.
Oh God.
He said that he's going to be at LSV anyway, so you might get to see Jack there at the game. But he did ask for what our thoughts of Leicester are for this season. For me, Leicester has just been surprising, just for the point that we all thought they was going to get relegated. Probably even what I was reading from Leicester fans, they thought they was going to get relegated. So the change of manager really did help massively. But what about you, Chloe, for Leicester?
Yeah, I think since the new, like I said before, I think since the new manager has arrived, they've surprised me a hell of a lot. I think there's going to be a bit of a struggle now. Jess is out, unfortunately, with an ACL injury, but she's going to bounce back. But they've still got the likes of Tash Flint in their squad, who is an outstanding player for them and who can score goals, who is an aggressive player towards in tackles and in plays, and she can cross, she can shoot, and she's one of the players that is an outstanding player for Leicester, and is one of their best players as well. So I think if they can play how they've played the previous couple of weeks, then I think they've got a good chance of staying up. They've just not got to let it fall, because I think if it does, if they slip up once, maybe twice, then you never know what's going to happen. Like Jack did say, there's 7 games left to the end of the season, and it's all to play at both at top of the table and at bottom of the table.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, I completely agree. And Chris, I hope you're not that type of person to bring a drum, just like Manchester City. But for you as well, Andy, because there has been a couple of new signings. One in particular, Diane. I feel like she has been pretty much thrown into the deep end because she's one of the only 2 available centre-backs. But coming into the Manchester United squad, what have you made of her?
She's really physical. And that's fantastic. It's funny because I think we sort of, I mean, some people didn't. Obviously, some people did know a little bit about her, others didn't. But so we kind of came up with a song about, crunching tackles, kind of just because it kind of works as a song. But I've never seen it be more accurate to describe a player. She is very physical. I do worry it's going to bite us on the proverbial at some point with these referees. She has been on a yellow card a couple of times because of that. I kind of wish that we got her when she's a bit younger. Only because she's fine as she is now, but only because I think we've really connected to her as a fan base. It is like having a fan on the pitch. You see the pictures of her when she was a kid, pictures of her outside Old Trafford. Yes, she's going to get to play at Old Trafford on the 27th, against Everton. But it would have been great if she would have got a couple of years with us. But, it is what it is. I really like her because I see the opportunity now of, Diane will be our crunching defender. Jade Moore will be our crunching, midfield stacked from that perspective, because you've got Hayley Ladd and Jane Moore that are very, very physical. And occasionally, Tooney's not exactly famous for, pulling out of tackles either. So you can now say in all three big positions on the pitch, we've got physical players, which is something that we've lacked in the past. And I think as well, against some of the bigger teams, other players, other occasions, we've sort of lost a bit of that physicality. And I think, to be honest, even if she was told to be different, I don't think Diane can play football any other way but be physical. Same with Jade Moore, same with Hayley Ladd. It's ingrained in them. So I think, for example, when we get to, it's the end of the season, but when we get to Chelsea away, if all three of those players are on the pitch, I appreciate it's a big if, it might be a much different game than what we've seen earlier in the season. And just to circle back on another thing that you've been said as well, the benefit about Chelsea and Arsenal and City still being in cups is that is obviously, from a scouting perspective, we get more film on them, for want of a better word. So Mark and his team can look at them play different formations, it was just more evidence to help us prepare when we do play City Chelsea later in the year.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Chloe, as well, once, of course, Mannion does get fully fit, I do hope it's soon, because I'm completely missing out 100%. But would you do a Diane and Mannion partnership, or would you do a Maria and Mannion partnership, or would you still stick to Maria and Diane?
I think for me, it depends on what team we play, because I think if we play big teams like the likes of Chelsea, then I think you're going to need the strong lineup, the strong defence. But I think I am right. Maria can play in the CDM role. So if we haven't got Hayley Ladd, if we haven't got Jade Moore, I think Maria can play there. So if all three can play, Diane, Mannion and Marie, then I think we've got a good lineup. And obviously if we've got Millie Turner back as well, I think that's going to be good, because at least we'll have a centre back to come back onto the pitch for a backup, for in case one of our centre backs gets a second yellow, because all three of them are very physical, are very attackive, and all of them have got yellow cards for tackles that are on the pitch. But I agree with what Andy was saying. Like, since Diane has come to United, she's probably been the most physical player we've had. And yeah, I'm gutted that we've only got her for 6 months. But in my head, I'm thinking, if we get Champions League, will she extend for another year or another 6 months? But that's fingers crossed, because I think we need that experience. We need that player who's had that experience alongside Jackie and other players playing in the Champions League. So I hopefully think that having Diane on the pitch definitely brings that experience, and whoever she plays with, she has a good partnership. But we've not seen her play with Mannion yet. We have seen her play with Maria. So hopefully she'll get that time where she can play with Mannion, and we can see that the difference between her playing with Marie and her playing with Mannion, and maybe play Marie in a different position, because I have seen her drop into CDM role when Hayley Ladd's been up the field, or when we've not had a centre defence mid, and she plays well there. And I just think she might be good to play there, just as a maybe, in case we haven't got, like I said, the likes of Jade and Hayley. What do you think of that, Andy?
Yeah, I think it's funny, because again, you have to look at it objectively, and I don't know enough about the league, if I'm honest, about the ages of non-goalkeepers. And I think actually 33 is the ceiling. And I think, to be honest, it probably doesn't matter what she does in the next 6 months. She probably will go in summer. which I really feel bad about because, as I said, I wish she was younger. But I think if we play with Mannion, that would be good. I think Maria, Maria Torres-Stottier has, to be honest, she's kind of been a microcosm of our season. Sometimes she's been the world class. Other times she's been a little bit when she gets the ball, and that's exactly what we've been like this season. Look at the last game against City. Certain pundits in the media have said that they've never seen United play such a strong first half, at any point in the season. But then the second half, we played, unfortunately, like we should be putting Benny Hill music in the background. It was really poor, and I think that's the issue we've had all season. But yeah, I think we can. I think we can chop and change a bit. I think possibly that's why Mark has got the players that he's got. But I do think there's got to be a fundamental change in summer as well, as a side point, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And I'll stay with you as well, Andy, on your thoughts on the Sigger.
Obviously, obviously it's sad that she's had an ACL injury. I think we could have done with keeping it. I was initially frustrated when we left ourselves with, essentially he wants to volunteer in attack this season at the first half of the season, apart from Russo and Martha Thomas, but she was again injured. But obviously now we've got Brunny as Nat started the new nickname, and we've got Martha Thomas, we've got Russo, we've got Tooney, which as I say has flirted with the false nine striker role. To be honest, it probably was a good decision to move her on. With our thanks, because she was an original and she did well and all that, but it was probably a good decision, and she's probably at the level she needs to be at with Leicester. But it's obviously a shame that she can't get involved with the rest of the season. However, I would say, irrespective of all the sort of waffle, Birmingham are down. It's done. So you don't have to worry about that now. So I'd be interested to see how Leicester are motivated for the next part of the season.
Mm-hmm. Rich is in the chat here. Hello there to Rich. So as it stands, we're currently 4th, and Leicester are currently in 11th place. Yeah. But they look like they are going to be staying up as it stands. But we can never write off anyone in the league. But we're doing quite well. We're not far off 3rd place, which is a good thing too. But let's go to my favourite time now of the stream, which is, of course, predicting our lineups. I'll go with my lineup first, who I think will start for this Manchester United squad. I think it's going to be Mary Earps back in goal. I think she's had a tremendous season this season, and she's England's number one. She's our number one, and she deserves to keep that starting 11 place. I think in the fullbacks, it's going to stay as Hannah and Honor. They're our strongest fullbacks there. I do quite like Kirsty Smith. Maybe she might have a bit of a run time maybe for the Leicester game, for instance, because I felt like, for me, Hannah Blundell didn't really have a very good game for Manchester City, and a lot of people did judge her on that second goal, which I do agree it was quite appalling. We're not going to get into that, of course, so maybe he might drop Hannah and perhaps maybe use Kirsty Smith, but I think it would be, if we do that, that would be probably one of our best opportunities. But I do believe we should still go with our strongest lineup. The centre backs, we've only got 2 available centre backs, so it's going to stay as Marian and Diane for me. I think he is going to play in a 4-2-3-1 anyway. So in the pivot, I think it's going to be Katie Zellum, and as well, I think I would like to try and see Bo Risa back in that squad. I just don't think Jackie and Zellum really worked well together in that City game, but none of us really played well for City. But I think Bo Risa, she was a miss. She is a different kind of midfielder compared to the other midfielders we do have in that Manchester United squad. She brings a different kind of creativity there too for me. So I would like to see a bit of Bo Risa back. I think Galter will play on the left. I think Russo will actually stay on the right. I think Tooney will be playing as that number 10. And I actually think Brun will start for this game. Just because with Leicester compared to City, you can have that little bit more openness because with City they play quite narrow, so that's better for Martha Thomas to start. Whereas with this Leicester game, you've got more open opportunities, in my opinion. So I think it'll be a much better game for Brun to adapt to and to try and get a goal. I am predicting a first goal to be next week against Reading, which fingers crossed she does. But let's go with you, Chloe, for your predicted lineup.
So, obviously, my predicted lineup will be Mary Oates in net, and then the fullbacks is Ona and Hannah Blundell. And then I think Diane and Maria Torres-Dottir will stay centre-back, so I don't think there'll be a change in the defence. I think the formation is going to be a 4-3-3. Okay. So I think Katie Zellin will be centre mid, and then I think we'll have Bo Risa on one side and maybe Hanson on the other, and then Tooney playing as well with Brun and Russo.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my lineup. But then I could also, I think instead of Hanson, maybe Leah. So it depends on how Leicester set up as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I completely agree. We haven't really used too much of that 4-3-3, really, have we? So
no.
We need to. I think with a 4-3-3, in my opinion, that is what you see with title-winning teams. That is the formation what they do tend to use. We see that with Chelsea quite a lot. We see it with Manchester City even. We don't really see it as much with Arsenal because they tend to play a pivot as well, but they have really went off the backbone now. They're put a brake on the pedals. So maybe Chelsea might end up winning the league. We don't know yet. But to Niall's question, there is 10 more games left till the end of the season. And to Rich's question, there is 12 teams in the league. 12 teams in the league. So we'll have a total of 24 games throughout the whole season. And hello there to Norman. I've not seen in the chat here before. Thank you for coming in. He'd like to see Kirsty Smith and Martha Thomas get a game. And he doesn't want to say Russo on the wing. I think with Russo on the wing, for me, I think it's a little bit different. I think some games she's really good in going in the wings when the space is a lot more open for her. But like in games where you play against the Chelseas, the Manchester Cities, the Arsenals, it doesn't work as well because she doesn't have as much space. And when Russo starves there of opportunities, then the whole squad really gets affected by it, because as well as her scoring the goals, she also provides the goals for us as well. She literally has to fire her own ball. She has to create it, and then she has to score it. So I think with Russo on the wing, it's just depending on what game it really is. But for you, Andy, what's your lineup?
I think, to be honest, obviously Mary Oates in goal. In relation to the fullbacks, Honor, and I actually would put Kirsty Smith in because it was so poor, that second goal. I think there has to be not a consequence like I'm punishing a child, but there has to. But I'm nervous putting her straight back in. Now, obviously, I've not seen what's happened this week in training. She could be bossing it again. But I think if Kirsty Smith is there and thereabouts, I'd put her in. If there's still a big gap on the training pitch, maybe that's why she'll play. So, as I say, Honor or Hannah / Kirsty Smith. As you say, there's no discussion about the centre backs because it's the only ones we've got, Maria and Diane. In relation to midfield, obviously, I'd say it goes back to when we had no strikers. He likes to have a heavy midfield. I'm not as technical to sort of see it necessarily real time, but obviously Katie Zellin in the DM position, even though she's not naturally a DM, but there's no Hayley Ladd. And then I'd like to see like Vilda and Jackie on the pitch together. With sort of Tooney, with sort of Tooney as like an attacking midfielder, and that obviously was to essentially be a 4, but like in a diamond 4-4-2. And then up front, I think it'd be great to see Russo, because she's not a winger. She's not a winger as much as people try and pretend she's a winger. She's not a winger, and maybe Martha Thomas purely from its Leicester point of view. But if you wanted to say that go out for the goal difference, you would put Brunn. I think to an extent, Leicester is probably the closest we've now got to a sparring partner for Brunn in the sense of, we need her to start getting goals. She said herself in the first interview that she did, she's a striker. Well, at the minute, the striker's not scoring. I'm not criticising it. I'm just making a statement. So that's going to become psychological if it carries on a bit longer. So I think I know you're saying about scoring at, in Reading, but I wanted to score a couple, against Leicester, because I think her shoulders are then going to drop and she's going to, okay, then I'm all right. And then it's going to go bang. And then we'll maybe get the goals that we were expecting, in the future games. If she doesn't score against Leicester, she doesn't score against Reading, you're going to get people going, really? Maybe no wonder Leon got rid of her so easily. That's going to start a little bit. But yeah, so up front, I'd say probably in reality, Russo and Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a few more people has entered the chat. Hello to Lanzel, hello to TJ. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to end the stream now, though. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Andy, for coming on. When you do shout your socials out, also give your predicted score prediction. Go with you first, Chloe. Where can we find you and your score prediction? Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, Maisy. My Twitter is Chloe Riley 14, and my score prediction is a 4-1 win United.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Andy, where can we find you and your score prediction? Thank you for coming on as well.
No, it's been great. Thank you very much for having me. Obviously, my initials are AJO_87 now. I'd like to do something which ends with a 0, so a 2-0 or a 3-0. But I think the way it's been, we probably are going to do something silly. So maybe 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, United.
Yeah, of course. Thank you both for coming on. It's been great. Both Andy's and Chloe's socials are in the description below. Also check the description below, because there is actually a very good channel in the description below. What is actually going to be coming tomorrow? First show, which is going to be the Fans Forum. So go and subscribe to that channel. Only One United. It's going to be a cracking channel. Both me and Andy will be on there tomorrow, so you can check us out at 10 o'clock.
Yep. It's going to be Talking Reds. Is the title of the show, because that's essentially what we do all day, and you can talk back to, which I know you all want to do, in the comments, and we'll try and respond to them like Maisy does so brilliantly on her channel. So 7 o'clock tomorrow. The tweet will go out probably tomorrow morning to get the direct link, and come and tell me how wrong I am.
Yes.
And Maisy, what's your score prediction for tomorrow?
Oh, I'm actually going to go for a 3-0 win for Manchester United. I'm predicting a clean sheet. I don't know whether I should predict a clean sheet, but I'm going to predict a clean sheet. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you both for coming on. Make sure you do subscribe to Only One United in the description below. I will be next live on Saturday at 11:45 a.m. I will be doing a watch along for the Leicester game, actually. So you'll be able to hear my lovely commentary. And I will be doing also a watch along for the Manchester City game as well. So check both of them out this weekend. But until then, I'll see you soon. Goodbye for now.
See you.